Hello everyone, my name is Nick. I hope you are well. I just want to clear up a few things on the channel because there's been a few misconceptions about me. Not for regular watchers, but maybe some other people. Now, I do not hate Atari. I love Atari. I love what it stands for. I love the brand. I love all the games from Atari. I just like the retro history of it. I'm a huge fan of Atari. But the Atari I'm a fan of is the Atari that made all the games in the first place, that created all this nostalgia, all the games, all the folklore and all that sort of thing. The company at the moment, who call themselves Atari, aren't really Atari. I suppose legally they are, but they're Infogrames who bought Atari and bought the name. So they legally can put the Atari name on any products that they actually make. Now, I did some recent videos of the Atari VCS. If you're not sure about that, what it is, no, it's not the Atari VCS. The Atari 2600 back in the day, as it was then called. It's a crowdfunded project calling itself the Atari VCS as well. I don't know why it's calling itself the same name. Before it was the Atari Box. Maybe it sounds too similar to Xbox. They called it Atari VCS. Now, as I say, I love Atari. And you want the name to go on. So anyone else who has got their name, you think, okay, right, give it the respect it deserves, push it forward, and then make the brand grow even more. The crowdfunded project for Atari VCS is a new console, although not much has been released about it. Back in, well, months and months ago, I did a video saying I was looking forward to this. I'm looking to see what's gonna happen. There was a failed launch, withdrawn for some sort of component reasons. But then they did Indiegogo Kickstarter. All the backers on there from the forum I've seen look quite happy so far. They've raised about £3 million, or $3 million I should say, to actually put this thing into production. I have a lot of reservations about this, but at the end of the day, that has now finished, that crowdfunding, and the only thing that's really important are the backers, who all seem quite happy at the moment if you check their forums, that's good, and their relationship with Atari, what they actually deliver. Now, because not much information has actually come out about this system, people like speculating what it can do. I think it's still under negotiation. So without information, people do go off on a tangent and think what they think. YouTubers, news outlets are always going to report what they want to say based on the facts they've actually got. And when you've got an absence of facts, that leads you to speculate. Now, for the cost of this machine, because we only know at the moment it's going to play older games, which is great, having a modern day system with the Atari logo on. That's really, really cool. But you want it to do a bit more for that cost because there's already other things out there that can emulate existing stuff. Now, people say who would buy an emulation, but it's people are big into retro gaming, regardless of what system you are, because it's a link to the past, your memories. People bought the Commodore 64 Mini, various other systems, because that retro thing is strong, and they want a physical thing to hold rather than downloads. And you can see that in a lot of things, like vinyl records made a comeback, because people just want to hold the thing, look at the thing, and it gives them more of an emotional attachment to it. The Atari VCS seems quite expensive for what it is, but to be fair, we don't really know what it is. If it's going to have new games and other things like that, then that is absolutely fine. Now, as news comes out for this machine, I really do hope it goes to full process and people get something that they're proud of. As more news comes out about this, I will report about it as well. Now, the controversy come. Now, even the most ardent of Atari fans will have to admit, if the project goes well, which we hope it does, the PR has been quite bad, which has led to this situation in the first place. It could have been thought out a lot better, and it sort of like escalated when Atari had an interview with the registrar, which are like a news reporting agency and a website. And it was supposed to be a launch of the system, or at least a discussion about the system, and they went to the launch without a working model. Now, the registrar are a bit miffed about that, but I think they would have let that go if then Atari could have said something about the machine, what is going to happen. But it turns out they didn't know anything about the machine either, so it seems like that was a very, very early stage. So there was nothing they could give them. So why agree to a meeting in the first place? So then the registrar gave quite a damning review about it, that the guy didn't know much about the machine because he was still doing, I think they're still doing deals on negotiation, it seemed, and he wanted to keep it top secret. And then Atari was asked to respond to this damning review, and they said the reporter just wanted to write what he wanted, and he called him out and they said that isn't what happened, up to a point. Then the registrar then released the full 30-minute interview, which is actually on their site, and it turns out the registrar was telling the truth. That is what happened, so Atari lied there. But let's ignore that. That's just terrible, terrible PR, and just concentrate on the Atari VCS project. Now, there are people that as soon as they hear the word Atari VCS, they just say scam, 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 and there's other people that say it's going to be a success, success, success. That's the two ends of the spectrum, so to speak, and hopefully it's going to be somewhere in the middle. Now, people obviously are a little bit worried because it's been through Indiegogo, people that have been burnt previously with the because there's been a lot of failed projects there, most notably the Coleco Chameleon, where people lost their money, and also the Spectrum Vega Plus. Now, Atari are giving updates to people in those forums, which is a positive. They've got Rob Wyatt, who's behind the Xbox launch, I think, and the PlayStation chip, so that's another positive as well. So the race is still going on. It's hard to know if a racehorse has actually won the race, or the race is still going. So despite my reservations, I will wait to see what happens there. So fingers crossed to all those people that have backed the Atari. It shows great faith in a company that have just bought the name. But so I can't argue. A box there linking back to the future with the Atari logo on, looking more modern, does look like a brilliant thing. So fingers crossed. So I hope that's put the record straight there. On another video, it looked like bots, not just my video, other videos I put up about the Atari VCS and that registrar thing, got a load of thumbs down very, very quickly, and I thought, right, the only thing that can do that is bots. People said it wasn't bots, why would they be doing that to your video? But the thumbs down were coming quicker than it would take someone to watch the whole video. And it only, I could only see the stats about 3 days later, of course, on YouTube. And although that initial activity, all those thumbs down had come from Brunei. And I think, okay, I didn't know much about Brunei. It seems like an odd place to get loads of thumbs down in a row. Did some research. Brunei has got a very small population, under 500,000. So it did seem to me, I did 2 videos about this, both hit by Brunei early on. It did seem to me it was someone using a bot, and the time that these were coming in, it was the time that it was logging into one account and logging into a second account and then thumbing it down again and thumbing it down again. But that was just increasing the videos thing in search. And I think true backers of the Atari VCS would not thank those people for doing that, because it just makes them look a bit silly. They just want the project to get off to a success, least drama as possible, get your machine and think, yes, the Atari good times rolling again. So, you know, a bit of information for you. Okay, so thank you once again for listening to that. I love the Atari, great name. Let's hope it continues despite my reservations. Until next time, take great care of yourself and are very fond. Goodbye.
Goodbye.